We are live outside Americans' election headquarters, where results will soon be pouring in as the polls close across the country. As Brett mentioned, 596 days since Ted Cruz kicked off election 2016. 22 candidates, now down to 2. 62 million primary votes cast. $1.3 billion spent, and hundreds of hours of disagreement and debate on this show alone, all in the books. And now, we are just a few hours away from finding out whether an establishment Democrat with a strong ground game or a political outsider with an uncanny ability to use the media will be the 45th president of the United States of America. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump cast their votes today after a bitter general election battle. They'll be spending election night less than 2 miles away from one another right here in Manhattan. Along with the White House, control of the Senate is also up for grabs. It's going to be an interesting night, to say the least, Miss Guilfoyle.
Yes.
How do you make the race so far? What are you thinking? By the way, congratulations, everybody. 596 days. And we're still together here.
A long journey indeed. I think it's very exciting. You can tell by the crowd out here tonight. People can feel it in the air. We've got both of the people contending to be president of the United States right here in Manhattan in New York City. They both have worked very hard in a long, tough battle to be able to get into these positions. And here's the exciting part, that we live in this democracy. It's a close race. It's tight by all the polls that are being considered. So it really is one to watch to see how this is going to turn out. Will it be historic with a woman as the first president of the United States, or will it be the outsider who said he's going to drain the swamp in D.C. and take back government for the people? Pretty exciting.
Dana, in a couple of minutes, we're going to get some exit polls. We're going to go inside as soon as we have them compiled. Your thoughts? What do you think we're going to hear in a couple of minutes?
Well, I want to find out if the exit polls from the primaries end up being what you hear tonight in the general. One of the things that was notable in the exit polls for the Republican primary is that people really want somebody who would tell it like it is. They got that. They also said that it wasn't that important to them that it could be somebody who could win in November. They may get that too. Or they might not, because Hillary Clinton was considered to be somebody that people were like unenthusiastic about in the Democratic primary, because a lot of the enthusiasm was with Bernie Sanders. And I think Donald Trump has this amazing enthusiasm behind him across the country. But can that overtake her organization? That's going to be what we have to find out in the next 5 hours.
One, I said it was an establishment Democrat with a strong ground game versus an outsider with the uncanny ability to work the media. Who wins in that?
Well, I think ground game wins, because it's just like you can have big rallies, you can have a lot of TV ratings, but the question is, do you have people who go to the polls? And today, what we know is 130 million people. 130 million. Astounding. So this will set all records for voter turnout in the USA. And what you get is a huge change in who is turning out, huge increases, especially among Latino voters right now, the focus of so much attention from the political analysts.
All right, what do you say, Greg? How do you assess it so far?
My favorite part of today was when they asked Hillary Clinton what it was like to vote for herself. And she said, I felt humbled. Feeling humbled for voting for yourself might be the greatest contradiction I've ever heard. That's like saying, you know, I feel selfless when I still steal those pills from grandma, or I feel brave when I run from a butterfly. That's why I love her.
Obviously, guys, Florida's going to be super important, and also North Carolina. And the interesting part about that is that's the Eastern time zone. One other hour, I guess, the panhandle of Florida is the next hour. However, very two important states we could be calling it early if Trump doesn't lock those two down.
Maybe, but you know, he does have a path to 270, and one of the states to watch is Pennsylvania, and of course then New Hampshire. We'll get those results, and if it's really, really close, you need to look up into Maine, where they split their vote, and he could actually pick one of those up there.
CD2. Yeah?
Yeah, I have an idea. See, my state doesn't matter. New York City, you know, it's like if I vote, it's like adding a grain of sand to the Gobi Desert. It's going to go Hillary no matter what. I think they should change the rules so that if you get the popular vote, you get the VP. So if Hillary, let's say Hillary wins, but Trump gets the popular vote, he he gets to be VP. Trump is VP.
That's what they
and
do in
the
Europe.
reverse. I love that idea. Why can't we do that?
Yeah, because it would be explosive, Gregory. I mean, it's not like we haven't had a divisive enough election.
It would
you want it to be institutionalized.
It would be a unification.
This is another example of Greg thinking way outside his little box. I like it. I like it.
Why does it have to be little?
Well, you know, there is a very, very, robust debate whether we should get back to rather, leave the Electoral College and go back to the popular vote.
But it's in the Constitution,
I
right?
understand that. And there are methods to change the laws via constitutionally via ways to change it.
There are, and that's why it's very interesting to see. So, Greg, I'm going to disagree with you and say that you should get out there to vote, regardless of whether your state is historically gone blue or red. You want to see people, everybody's vote should count, and then you see the comparison. I think it's worth it to be able to see who wins popular, who wins the Electoral College vote. But more importantly, what we saw, people talked about this being a divisive or negative election, tough fought battle. You know what I saw? I saw people engaged and passionate on both sides. I think that is important, and perhaps we've gotten more people to register, to get out there to vote, to exercise their civic duty here, which I think is important. There's so many people across the world that would kill to have the right to vote and determine who their leaders are going to be.
Well, just let me quickly add there that part of that is women. I mean, tonight is a big deal for women, and women are a larger percentage of the electorate tonight than they were back in 2012. It means that up to now, more than 53, 54%.